If you've got severe stress levels, you have a shutdown of your parasympathetic supply to your digestive system, which is your rest and digest. So that increases blood supply to all the organs, which is essential for your bile release and obviously nutritional absorption. But then also you've got, if you're in fight or flight, your sphincters close so that the food isn't moving properly through your digestive system, or it just sits. And when food sits, that's not healthy, because it's what creates the leaky gut. It sits there, and then we get fermentation, excess fermentation, bad bacteria maybe start to breed. So it's very important that everything is functioning properly, and the viscera surrounding all the organs can tighten and contract from stress, from shock, from emotional problems, and also from actual infections or physical scar tissue that's sitting there from an operation, an appendectomy, cesarean section or something like that. And that will itself affect the nervous system functioning of the digestive system, as well as the effect of the organs being able to function and carry out their functions properly. If it's on severe cases, it could be like septicemia. Otherwise, it can create just general fatigue, illness. Your immune system is weak. You're not functioning properly. You're getting bloatedness, irritable bowel syndrome, spastic colon. All of those other side effects or symptoms can also show that the digestive system is not functioning properly. So with cranial work, we often work with the whole nervous system and the functioning of the nervous system. So the sacrum is the tailbone and the cranium is your skull. So we work at stretching out and releasing the whole membrane system and any tension of the nervous system and the dysfunctioning of the nervous system. But when we specifically work with visceral release, we call it visceral release, we're actually working with that peritoneal layer surrounding all the organs, and then it's connective tissue or fascia, which we call viscera, that surrounds and envelops every single organ, as well as the nerve and the blood supply around the organs. So we actually work, it's a very deep form of specialized digestive massage, but we're guided by the body, and we go into layers where we release restrictions. So it can be, say for example, a restriction around the liver from an old hepatitis. So it can be infection, or it could be a restriction of the viscera from scar tissue, like an appendectomy. And we actually release that and allow all the organs to come back into their correct position, and we also increase then the blood supply to all the organs, and the functioning of the nervous system balances. So we just very gently tune in at first, and then we just start to get a feel of what's going on. So already I can feel that my hands are being pulled over a little bit towards her right-hand side. So there's the liver here and the gallbladder. And there's a restriction that's feeling like it's pulling further down around the small intestine actually. So it's moving slightly more towards midline again. Visceral release, we can do it from all ages. Obviously, newborn babies, we don't really need to do too much deep work. But if they're highly colic, we sometimes do need to, not because that's what's causing the colic necessarily, but because of the effect of all of the crying and the constant cramping, we can start to release the contraction of that viscera. And obviously anyone that's suffering from any problems, if they've got any problems like leaky gut, irritable bowel syndrome, chronic constipation, anything relating to that, we can stretch and release and help them. And it increases the blood supply to the organs, which increases your nutritional absorption. It stretches out all of the contraction of especially if it's asymmetrical contraction of the viscera, and that itself can just improve posture. So I find even treating people with scoliosis, the iliopsoas muscle runs deep underneath the peritoneum, and that often is a huge postural muscle, and that itself can hold a lot of tension from an asymmetrical peritoneum that the body is trying to really hold on to, or trying to find balance with, like an old scar tissue from even a cesarean section or appendectomy. So we need to release that, and then everything starts to function better. The posture improves, digestion improves, they feel better, they might have emotional release, they might have a stress release at the same time.